So let's review what we've learned. We've learned that Box2D is a mathematical model that sort of works behind the scenes to simulate objects moving in a real-world environment. We learned that if we want to create a Box2D world object to do all of this simulation, we need to define the size of the world, we need to define the gravity, and we need to tell it whether or not to ignore sleeping objects, and normally it should. We learned that to create a body in Box2D, we want to define the shape, we want to define the body, we then need to use the world to create the body using the body definition, and then we use the body to create the shape using the shape definition. And we've learned that if we want to see what's going on with this mathematical simulation, we can use debug draw for now until we learn to use something better. So what's next? Well, first probably is going to be correcting mistakes that I've made in the presentation. I'm sure some of you will point out things that I have stated incorrectly, or maybe just point out that I say way too much in these things. And then after that, we've got a bunch of unanswered questions that we still probably need to know if we want to make a real application using Box2D. Like, for instance, how do we add in real art? All right, all this debug draw stuff is nice, but what happens if we want to put a real sprite or a real movie clip into our Flash game? We probably want to learn how to turn these things into classes and objects. You know, it's nice to have all of our crates right now in our main class, but at some point, if we want to ever do some individual tracking on them, anything like that, it's really going to make sense to make them their own objects. So we're going to need to learn how to do that. We're also going to want to learn how to detect collisions. You know, it's great that everything behaves naturally when it collides, but we as a game developer will probably want to know this stuff. If we were making a pinball machine game, we'd still want to know when that ball is colliding with our bumpers so that we know to give the player 10,000 points or whatever crazy overinflated score we want to give them. And we also want to know how to make things move under our control. It's one thing to have things behave naturally once you set it loose in the world, but there's probably going to be cases where we're gonna want something to move back and forth or within a certain direction under our control, and we still need to learn how to do that. However, as I'm finding out, these things take a while to put together. It just is a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. So I'll still be working on this. It just might take a month or two to put it all together. In the meantime, you can send comments and questions to me at flashytodd@gmail.com. And remember, don't be a jerk. So that's it for this first batch of lessons, and I will see you soon. Thanks.